Welcome to the Hard&Soft Pro-Wrestling Podcast. Yo. What up, Hard&Soft Nation? You know who it is. It's Big Hard in the building. I don't have to introduce myself. But, I'm always rolling with my little brother, that shoot brother. Oh, that's right. My little shoot brother, Randall, the Big Softy. And I call him the Big Softy because that's what he is. And, we're rolling with a new member today. We met this cat back over at the SV Dub watch party. Now, to be honest, I don't really remember much first night.
Yeah, Big Hard had a business meeting to get through that.
Yeah. I had to get home quick.
Can't go see a man about a horse.
But I might say that the greatest thing CM Punk ever did at Survivor Series was get us all together. So we appreciate you hopping in this morning. The beanie looks fire. The belt looks fire. Before the podcast, you said, "Am I marking out too bad?" Nah, dude, you're with a bunch of marks anyway. So thank you for coming on this morning. Appreciate it.
You're not marking out enough.
I love it, man. I appreciate you guys having me, man. This is awesome.
And I had to say this just because the episode we're doing, Big Hard. I thought you were gonna lead me in a little bit, and I was gonna say hello to the soft guy. But that's not. Anyway.
Man, you know what? If we don't rehearse it, damn it. But this is all off the fly, and that's why you guys love us, man. We're doing this all off the fly. And
there we go.
Like I said, we're here with a new buddy of ours, Okewa, and we went to WrestleMania. We got together with you at the Blue Meanies party. That was an awesome night. Then we met up Saturday.
McCuskers.
But give us a little introduction on yourself, man. Tell us a little about yourself.
Yeah, man. Well, shout outs to Hard&Soft community out there that's tapping in, man. It's a pleasure to be on the show. These are two great guys, and one thing that I respect is family, right? I'm really, really big on family, and the fact that you guys are doing this together, the fact that you guys were at WrestleMania together, the fact that you guys are wrestling fans together, can't get any better than that, man. In my world, so I give you guys so much praise and love and respect, man. So again, thank you for having me on the show.
Thanks, man.
I'm ready for it, man. One of my most favorite matches in wrestling history, I would have to say. Mania 10, man. The first time we're seeing a televised ladder match. So I'm super excited about this. And again, thank you guys, man. This is a wonderful outlet you guys have, and shout out to SV Dub, man, for
hell yeah,
bringing around some real cool people all the time, and shout out to CM Punk for bringing us together, man. This was, we could have asked for a better connection.
Well, and that's the thing, dude. Like that night. Well, first off, SV Dub, what a great shot. I think we shout them out every episode. Just because, they have this shop, they could charge admission to these watches. They could, and we would pay. And I wouldn't say anything about it, but they don't. And wrestling, I mean, you're starting to hear it now, even in the mainstream. Wrestling's back, and wrestling's kind of like it was back in the day. There was a time where we couldn't imagine CM Punk walking out. But, and at that time, you had Swerve and Hangman do that hardcore match the weekend of or the night before or something like that. And then you had Punk show up. So you had great moments everywhere in wrestling. Yeah. Dude, wrestling's back. And like Big Hard said, we met you back up at Mania. And we said, all right, when you come on the podcast, what match would you do? And without skipping a beat, you picked HBK versus the Bad Guy Razor Ramon. Why'd you pick that? And lead us into this episode a little bit, buddy.
Man, so WrestleMania 10, March 20th, 1994, my brother. I was 7 years old? Yeah, I think it was about 6, right? And
Chris was 58.
So I picked this match because, again, it's one of my favorite matches of all time. Number one. Number two, This is the first time we really see a televised ladder match. Number 3, as a kid, I was confused as to why there were 2 intercontinental titles. Now, cut to years later, I understand why. I understand that somebody got in trouble, right, and never relinquished their title, never gave it in, kept it. Razor really won it, right? So the story behind it is even more interesting now to me as an adult than it was back when I was a kid, because I understand what's going on now and why there were 2 titles. It was always mind-boggling to me, like, why I got 2 intercontinental titles?
Yeah,
right.
Like, especially at that age.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I get it now.
As we get into the card, there's a lot of when I was writing this, a lot of similarities between Mania 10 at MSG, I believe, and WrestleMania 40. The celebrity appearances, just the way that they were presenting this as a more of a mainstream. Through the whole thing, I saw a lot of similarities, and obviously we were together in Philly for Mania 40. Real quick, Okewa, what's your thoughts on WrestleMania 40? What's your thoughts on I was so impressed by the city and just everyone showing out. So what was your thoughts on Mania 40? You know, as you woke up Monday, what'd you reflect on?
Man, as I woke up Monday, I was hoping that it was a dream and I was waking up again on Saturday or Sunday, right? WrestleMania 40 in our hometown, Philadelphia, man, was incredible. Philadelphia really showed out, represented itself well, and showed why we are super duper sports fans and sports entertainment fans. It was incredible, man. It was incredible. And I'm very proud of my city for presenting themselves the way that they did. And super excited with what WWE did so far as the entire week. Right? It was incredible, man. WrestleMania 40 itself was awesome. It was, to me, I was explaining this to somebody else. To me, it was enough. It was enough. They didn't go super over the top. It wasn't lackluster. There weren't moments that were like, Only moment that I had that was like, was Saturday night, and dealing with the crowd. I think because they were just cold. That's it. Yeah. And you guys were there, so you'd be able to tell me better.
It was cold. Right one.
We were okay. Softy was all right. Softy was doing all right. I had a little light blanket on me. I was chilling.
We got a bunch of hand warmers. We had them in our feet and our pockets and everything like that. So I mean, we were okay, but it was definitely cold. And night 2 was like 10 degrees.
Perfect.
Perfect.
But again, Mania 40, a lot like Mania 10, there were so many stories that came out of WrestleMania 40 that we're going to see play out. There's so much that they set up for later on. Just like WrestleMania 10. I mean, you had Luger, you had Yoko. We'll get into the card. But again, the thing that the criticism coming into Mania 40 was there was so much hype about the main events that maybe the undercards were a little lackluster. But, I mean, Sammy and Gunther, I mean, they had so many matches that overperformed, and that's what we're getting into at Mania 10. Razor and HBK, there really wasn't, we'll get into the lead up in the notes, but there wasn't a lot of spotlight on this thing. And it was just a surprise match that just overperformed, obviously.
For sure.
Before we get into it, I got one more thing. Sorry, Big Hard. Now I'll let you read this card. You're looking hard, dude. Look at that goatee looking hard.
I had a dream last night.
Oh, boy.
This is crazy. It's more like a nightmare. So, like, for some reason, I went for a haircut, even though I'm bald and I shaved my own head. And, like, I don't know what was going on. Like, I was drunk or something getting a haircut, and I didn't know what was going on. And I ended up looking in the mirror, and the guy shaved my beard off.
Ouch.
Oh.
Now, if that actually happened, and you could only respond in a finisher, what finish would you do?
RKO out of nowhere.
Oh, that yes.
Yeah, I mean, there's no other thing I'm gonna do. Boom, dude. And then I'm gonna go home and cry. But yeah, sorry to interrupt you.
We're marks. The Rock.
Ooh.
The Rock.
The final boss.
The final. Was that the greatest run of his career? I mean, that's a crazy question because of his career and everything he's done in professional wrestling. You know, Rock and Austin probably, right? But this was different.
I think definitely the best thing he's done since his full-time career ended. Since he did his first movie, before that, he did some great stuff. But I mean, I think anything else he came back and did was kind of, you know, the Ronda Rousey thing, the thing where he beat Eric Rowan in 6 seconds.
Different era.
The 3 years with John Cena leading up to that, you know, this was definitely the best thing he's done since 2001.
I think
I'll give you that.
I gotta agree with you guys, man. The final boss character, this the final boss, this new iteration of like Hollywood Rock times like 10 was incredible, man. It was incredible. And again, one of my favorite wrestlers for like super duper personal reasons. And then here we are throwing it back to Mania 10, man, with two of my other all-time favorite wrestlers. Like, you ask me my favorite wrestlers, the first three I'm going to name are HBK, Razor, and Rocky.
Dude, why do I feel a flashback to Saturday night? Or Friday, what was that, Thursday night?
Thursday night.
That's all we were doing.
Night. Yeah.
That's all we were doing.
Tell me your Mount Rushmore of ECW wrestlers.
There we go.
Yeah. We did a Mount Rushmore of like 70 different things that night.
Yeah.
70 different promotions.
Yeah. Well, Big Hard, let's get into it, dude. WrestleMania 10. Go ahead, dude. Take it away.
All right. Well, you know, WrestleMania 10, 30 years ago, Madison Square Garden. So they was the first WrestleMania at Madison Square Garden?
I believe so, yeah.
I'm not sure. But then they did 10, then they did 20. So it was like every 10-year thing. And then 30, they switched it up. But honestly, WrestleMania is too big for Madison Square Garden at this point. And if they did Madison Square Garden today, those tickets would be like 10 grand. I'm sure.
I can't even imagine.
But I mean, people would pay, they'd pack it. It would be an awesome show. But, you know, regardless. But, you know, this show was Sunday, March 20th, 1994, Madison Square Garden. We had a jam-packed crowd of 19,444. I don't know if that's a Meltzer number or not, but I mean,
the millions
and millions. So the first match we had was Owen Hart versus Bret Hart. This was one of the best matches in my childhood. I was a big Bret Hart fan from the day that I started watching wrestling. So this feud was great. And I mean, are you talking about brother versus brother? This was the match right here. Owen was the guy in the backdrop, you know. Bret Hart was in the spotlight, and Owen Hart was coming into his own here. I mean, Owen Hart was great. I mean, dare I say almost better than Bret, but Bret had that star power. He had I don't know, just Bret had that it factor, I guess. But Owen came out, won here. And the funny story is here, then, you know, at the end of the night, Bret Hart goes and wins the title, but Owen Hart beat him in the first match. And this is kind of a throwback to WrestleMania 30, WrestleMania 30 used this as a throwback, you know, where Daniel Bryan had to beat Triple H to get into that triple threat match. So, I mean, like you said, this WrestleMania 10 plays into a bunch of different things. They've used these stories over and over again, but that was one of my favorite matches up to this point was Bret versus Owen.
Shout out to the archives.
Yeah, we did do that for the archives.
For sure.
Well, we did. Yeah. Then we had Bam Bam Bigelow and Luna defeating Dink and Doink. I mean, you can't go wrong with a Dink and Doink match. Do we have? So Meltzer did give Bret Hart, Owen Hart 4.75 stars. So he did almost give it a 5-star rating. It was probably the fact that his mom put too much salt on the macaroni and cheese that night. That's probably why it didn't get a 5-star, but you know, that is what it is. But I mean, he did give Dink and Doink a 1 and 3/4 star. I mean, you can't go.
I don't know why, because that's one of the greatest, if not the greatest match in wrestling history.
Yeah.
Dink and Doink.
Then we had Randy Savage defeating Crush by a countout. That was a Falls Count Anywhere. So, all right. So let's get this straight here. It was a Falls Count Anywhere match, but it ended in
I didn't understand that either.
Countout. So I'm not sure. I almost have to go back and watch the ending of this to see.
I had to watch it when I was
right.
writing this. I was like, "Is this right?" I had to watch it.
What sense is that?
Man.
Yeah.
Ooh,
So then we had
real quick. How good are the Macho Man and Dusty?
Oh, Dusty, those dudes.
They're nice,
awesome,
dude.
man.
They're fucking awesome.
I mean, shout out to those guys. All 4 days that we seen them, they were dressed in different outfits.
Yeah.
But same Macho Man Dusty. I mean, those guys are great. Makes me want to get like a Bret Hart outfit.
They go everywhere.
They do. They're everywhere. I don't understand. I wish I don't know what people do for a living or if they just, just have a lot of money saved up, but it would be awesome to be able to do that, like travel to SummerSlam and Survivor Series. I mean, maybe one day we'll be able to do that. I mean, SummerSlam is in Ohio this year. I don't know.
Are you saying Hard&Soft want to go there?
I don't know.
I'll book the tickets. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, we might have to make that happen.
Macho and Dusty, it was like they were out with us on Thursday, and then Friday they woke up for WrestleCon, and then Saturday they were somewhere, and then I saw him I was in bed, and I commented on like his Instagram live. I was like, dude, you must be exhausted.
I think I seen him on Saturday because we were hanging out with him Thursday, and we started talking. He goes, "Oh, hey, it's you again." I was like, "Yeah, man."
I'd have been like, "No, it's you again."
Yeah.
Then we had Lunger Blaze versus my favorite women's wrestlers, Leilani Kai. And that was for the WWE Women's title, and the Lunger Blaze won. That was a 1 1/4 stars from Dave Meltzer. He was really feeling good there.
Wow.
We had Mabel and Mo versus Jogs and Pierre. That was one of my favorite tag teams back in the day. The Quebecers. They were Quebecers. They were a great tag team. Great foe for the Hart Foundation, which was one of my favorite tag teams. Brett, Jimmy, and then we had Yokozuna versus Lex Luger, and Lex Luger won this match by a count out. So this was the whole 2 people won the Royal Rumble this year. Bret Hart, Lex Luger hit at the same time. So we had Lex Luger getting in the first title match. He won technically by count out, and didn't like the whole locker room come out and celebrate Lex Luger winning this. Yeah, and this wasn't even the main event. So I mean, whatever. So he won, but he didn't win the title. So that's going to set up for the sharpshooter later on in the match. We had Earthquake defeating Adam Bomb in 32 seconds. Now Meltzer gave that a dud. So I guess a dud is just a 0 star. I guess that's what that means.
And that's the tough part about live TV, Chris, because you don't think that like Bruce was like, okay, go out there for 30 seconds. That was probably they probably had a 5-minute match plan, but everything went a little too long, and they're like, just make your entrance and go home. That's
be done.
And then the match that we're going to be watching today, this was Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels in a ladder match. Basically, first time we're going to see it on television. I mean, I guess they've been done. And I think this was a Bret Hart idea. I guess they used to do this a lot in Stampede Wrestling.
Yeah, and this is the first like mainstream major promotion
on a WrestleMania. You know what I mean? You've never seen this type of match in WWF, let alone at WrestleMania. So
and the funny thing is they had one ladder.
One ladder.
That is insane to think, because nowadays, even without having a ladder match on the card, there's probably 5 ladders under the ring
right
any given time.
If they broke that ladder, this match would still be going on.
It would still be going on 30 years later. And the crazy thing about it is it's in the Garden. So why would the Garden only have one ladder? That's number
sense.
1. And then number 2, their first like ladder match, I think happened in like 92 in like a house show.
Yeah.
Incredible.
You can't know.
Imagine going to a house show back in '92. But this was for the undisputed Intercontinental title. So Shawn Michaels was the champion, but I guess he didn't lose his smile yet. This was pre-losing his smile, but this was Shawn Michaels back in the day, doesn't want to give up a title. So, and that's kind of funny because him and Razor were good friends, so you would think he wouldn't mind putting Razor over back then, but maybe they wanted him to put somebody else over. That's probably what it was. They probably wanted him to put Dink over.
Shawn was in a different place. Shawn
was in a different place back then. So Razor was the actual champion, but now Shawn Michaels comes back from injury, claiming to be the actual champion. So it was very cool having both titles hanging up there. I mean, we've never, let alone the first ladder match, but here we got 2 titles hanging up there. So I'm not going to spoil the match.
What it was, and this is coming from Sean, and I'm a Sean mark, so I'll take it for fact. He got popped for steroids.
Mm-hmm.
He got popped for steroids, and Vince said, you're taking steroids. And Sean's like, look, you can accuse me of many things, but that's not one of them. I didn't do it. And Vince is like, well, you did it. And Sean's like, well, retest me. And Vince is like, well, I'm not going to do that, but you can either admit to it and we'll be done with it, or you can take 6 weeks off. And Sean's like, I'm taking 6 weeks off. So they wanted him to drop the title. He didn't. He took it home with him, took his ball and went home. And that's why we have 2 hanging. Yeah.
Question for you guys.
A lot of us have 2 hanging.
As wrestling like, historians, do you guys think that the prestige of the Intercontinental title is like lackluster now? I think back in the 90s, the prestige of the Intercontinental title, man, was just second to none. Man. It was second to none.
I think it's important to keep prestige, or whatever you want to call it, around the IC title or that secondary title.
Mm-hmm.
I think back in the day when like Stone Cold or Razor or HBK were holding the Intercontinental Championship, it meant something. They made the title mean something. And I think today,
absolutely.
I mean, look at Sammy taking it off Gunther. That meant something.
Yeah.
And it's kind of back to it. But yeah, I think it lost kind of its feeling. And probably that was Vince. I know backstage it's always a thing. Vince is like, well, no one cares about the Intercontinental title. God damn it. But no, I think it's back today, and I think it's cool. And I like the look of the new title. I'll say that.
Yeah. It had to grow on me. These classic titles, man, it doesn't get any better than that for me.
Oh yeah, these ones that are hanging on this episode here, these are the classic title.
Yeah.
But so this match was great. I'm not going to spoil the ending. We'll all watch it together, although I'm pretty sure it's been 30 years now. So then we had the title match at the end, Bret Hart versus Yokozuna. Bret Hart ended up winning this match. Great celebration at the end, and I mean, I was ecstatic here for Bret Hart winning. I loved this as a kid.
Absolutely.
And this only set up the story between him and Owen, and I wish it went further between him and Owen, because it kind of, they did have a SummerSlam match in a steel cage, but they could have let Owen have the title, but I guess it just wasn't in the cards back here. But, great pay-per-view. This one I could watch from start to finish, but we're going to be watching just one match today with you, and we are 1 hour, 54 minutes, and 40 seconds in if you have your peacocks out. And I know Randall, he never puts his peacock away.
My peacock's been out. I've been hog watching.
Watching.
Dude, Vince never, Madison Square Garden was his home. It's his father's home. And he Donnie Wahlberg, Burt Reynolds, Piper came back for special guest referee. Like I said, like we all said, there's so many other things other than the wrestling that went in here, as Big Hard goes and takes he's got a business meeting.
He's got a business meeting with the peacock.
Again, okay, well, I mean, thanks for picking this match. And
yeah, my peacock was acting up. Sorry.
Really? It's all right. Dude, you got to get your peacock in order. Be a professional.
Woo!
Sip of water here for the working man. Hold on.
There we go.
So this match, it's historic, obviously, but to really, really appreciate it, you got to go back and you got to put yourself back in time. Nothing like this has been seen before. All these spots that these guys do and the story they tell in the ring, the crowd's with it. The crowd's never seen this. They're starstruck. They're biting on everything that these guys do.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So to really appreciate it, go ahead.
And Sean was like just doing this stuff, and like you go back and watch it now, and it's like the stuff that we're like,
right,
oh, that was so awesome. It's like the stuff that they're doing now compared to this, it almost makes these moves look lackluster.
Right.
But when they did these moves, these have never been done before. So back then, this was the holy shit moment back in the day. And that's kind of what sucks about today's wrestling is you only needed like 3 or 4 big spots in this match, to really get invested. Whereas if this ladder match was happening today, it would be like 20 high spots before the finish. So, I mean, I'm just trying to put that into comparison. 30 years ago, this was big moves. This is what Dave Meltzer was, Tokyo Doming in his parents' basement over. So,
for sure.
Big Hard, it sounds like you want to talk about Dynasty. You want to talk about Dynasty before
No. Maybe if we do that, we'll do that while we hit play, but no, not Dynasty, but I have another topic I'd like to bring up with you too, but that's going to be when we hit play.
Okay. All right, Big Hard, we'll be ready. So, like we kind of alluded to, it is said that Bret Hart brought up this idea of a potential ladder match years before WrestleMania 10 to Vince.
Bret,
and actually, what's that?
Bret, I'm fucked.
Oh, I actually have that here. The first ladder match for the WWF was in Portland, Maine on July 21st, 1992 for the Intercontinental Championship. Yep. The match wasn't aired. I believe it was Bret and Shawn, but it was recorded and featured on WWF Smack 'em and Whack 'em VHS tape. Chris, were you smacking them and whacking them back in the day?
Oh, you better believe it, man. They don't call me Hard for nothing.
Big Pop and Big Hard. Michaels won his first Intercontinental Championship from Davey Boy on Saturday night's main event on November 14th, 1992. He later lost the strap to his one-time tag partner, Party Marty.
Marty Jannetty, baby.
But then with the help of Big Kev, Big Diesel, Shawn regained the championship. And at this point in Shawn's career, he was really kind of stepping into his own, excelling in the ring. And again, like we talked about, establishing more of this like kind of solid Intercontinental Championship spot on the card. Mm-hmm. However, Shawn would get suspended, like we talked about, due to a violation of the WWF wellness policy. God damn it. It was explained on TV that Shawn forfeited the title. However, Shawn had other plans and kept that strap in and out of the airport. Nevertheless, the title was put up for grabs twice. Firstly, they had a battle royal, which was held, which the match would stop when the last 2 participants were left. Okay. And those last 2 would fight on the next Monday Night Raw for the strap. Razor Ramon and Rick Martel faced off, and Razor was your new Intercontinental Champion. Before I go any further, we've talked about Shawn. Dude, probably the most, I don't know, maybe underrated performers, and certainly one of the best characters that I don't think it's talked about enough for how cool he was and how he would have these kids just awestruck, man. The Bad Guy, Razor Ramon, Big Hard, and Okewa. I mean, when you guys were watching him growing up, what did you guys think of Razor? Were you there for the debut? What's your initial thoughts as kids? Because me, dude, I'm such a fan of him. And he was just, everything he did was just how you couldn't book him. You just had to let him go do his thing. He was so cool. You
had to let him go do his thing. I think the charisma and the star power he had was just unmatched. A lot of stuff, and I'm a professional dancer, right? So I understand.
So it's Big Hard.
Yeah. So I understand the art of selling yourself on stage or selling yourself on a big stage. And some of that stuff, you can teach choreography, you can teach moves, you can teach spots. What you bring to that, whatever your character is supposed to be, whatever they tell you, and you go leaps and bounds above it and bring what it is that it's really supposed to be, you can't teach that. And I think Razor was one of those guys. You really couldn't teach him the charisma and the machismo that he carried, man. You just had to
better than you, Chico.
Like you said, Softy, really? you had to let Razor do him, and he did.
And even like, and I'll go as far as saying the NWO. I mean, you had Hogan, obviously, which was the big name, the big star. You had Big Kev, who was an awesome addition. But really, when I think of NWO, it was the bad guy, dude. It was
guy.
Scott Hall. And even when he gets hit with that, that clip of him getting hit with the soda,
yeah, with the soda bottle,
and he just like
he doesn't even flinch.
And he would say, and I'll let you go, Big Hard. I'm sorry. Softy out here, dude. The soft guy. His life could have been out of sorts out of the ring, but in the ring, you just couldn't touch him.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, his look when I was a kid was just incredible. He's just huge. You know what I mean? He's coming out. He's got the cool look about him, and I mean, I guess he's just a cool guy in general. You know, I mean, that's like, you can't teach that. But
hey yo,
I used to love Razor
Hart, you come out, you talk about dignity. Don't be a mark, bro. Me and Big Kev are in the back. We don't care. Shout out to Will Sasso.
I mean, this was just great. I mean, his charisma is just the aura about him. I mean, what are you gonna? How do you not like this guy when he comes out?
When I wake up in the morning and I got to go through the doorway, I don't just walk through the doorway.
There we go, baby.
And then I look in the mirror. I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh shit, I'm just the softie. Anyway. So Sean returns at the 1993 Survivor Series.
Horrible realization.
So, hey, Big Hard, chill out there. Don't make me come and flare chop you in a parking lot again.
Yikes.
So HBK subs in for Jerry the King, who was facing some legal issues. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
At this year's Survivor Series.
Diddle me this.
And after Sean's return, Sean started his rivalry with Razor Ramon. In typical HBK fashion, when Sean returned, he also brought his IC title that he never lost on TV. And then, again, not a lot of build-up here, but it was decided that we're going to find out who the real Intercontinental Champion is here. We're going to hang them both in the middle. And the visual here, like you said, Big Hard, we're at 1 hour, 54 minutes, 40 seconds. If you're looking at your old Peacock, you can see the two straps hanging.
Yes, sir.
So I
got one question to the biggest Hard that I know. And Okewa, are we ready to press play on this thing? This is your match, Okewa. Let's count it down. Give us a little 3, 2, 1, and we'll press play on this bad boy.
Let's get it. We have 3. We have 2. And as the bad guy would say, uno.
Better than you, Chico.
There we go. I mean, just a great match here. We got the entrances coming up. I mean, Madison Square Garden would be an awesome place to go see a wrestling show at. I mean, I've never been there before for anything, let alone a wrestling show. But here comes Shawn Michaels. I love this red leather over the top. These white pants with the red hearts. Oh, my God. This is – if I could get a pair of those pants, oh, man.
Dude, that would be, and I think you can like sweatpants. I think they sell sharp line.
Look at his sunglasses too. How the little lenses pop up.
Yes,
he's got one popped up, the other one down. He's probably so high right now he doesn't even know what's going on.
And this is the beauty of the Garden. The beauty of the Garden is when WWE is ever there, they can't change the setup of the arena. I love it. Always. Yeah. You always know where you are.
It's always kind of that minimalistic entrance. This one's obviously cool. When I think of New York and I think of wrestling, I think of MSG. I'd love to go to that. But also the Hammerstein Ballroom. I think that's in New York, in the Bronx probably.
8th Avenue, baby.
I'd love to see like a GCW show there or something.
Oh, yeah.
That would be cool.
Can I tell you guys a fun fact about Hammerstein Ballroom? I auditioned for So You Think You Can Dance in Hammerstein Ballroom.
Oh, shit. That's awesome.
So
at least 7. You were there. At least you got to go in and experience it.
Season 7, baby. Let's go. Yes, sir.
We got Razor coming out now. All right, so I got one topic I was going to bring up.
Go ahead, Big Hard.
All right, so the NFL draft. And Tony Khan shows up. Yeah, Razor looks great. Gold chains.
Look at him, dude. Look at him, son.
Look at him.
Tony Khan shows up wearing the neck brace. All right. trying to sell the pile driver. Whatever. I get it. That's good selling of the angle. He's moving his neck around. He's moving his neck around like nothing happened anyway.
Can I step in just real quick?
Go ahead.
Okay. I liked the angle. Okay, the footage reveal, we all know how we feel about that. It was silly, It was stupid, it was petty, it was high school stuff.
Yes.
Jack Perry comes back, whatever, bing, bang, boom. I would have liked for them to promote that Tony Khan and Jack Perry were going to meet in the ring next week on Dynamite, but they threw it out. Okay, it's going to be later tonight, whatever. I liked that they tried something new. Okay, they came out and they did the Bucks, they're going to put AEW back on track. I liked it. It's something different. It's a story, and I can get with it. And then I liked the fact that Tony Khan wore the Vince McMahon neck brace. I did. But then he goes on and blabbers his mouth and ruins it all with that.
Yeah, see, I'm not even talking about the angle itself. I'm just talking about the fact that he's sitting there talking about he's the first challenger brand since 1957, the AFL. So for over 50 years, he's the first thing to come along and challenge a brand, supposedly. Then he goes on to say that he is the Pepsi, whereas WWE is an evil juggernaut like Harvey Weinstein. I just don't understand like the reference. Like I don't understand what you're even trying to say.
If you would have said Vince McMahon, it would have went over better. If you would have put the heat on Vince.
But Vince isn't even there anymore. So I mean, just like I just can't believe that comment. Like, okay, so you go ahead and do something that people actually can maybe say, oh wow, okay, we kind of like this, and then you show up wearing the neck brace, they're like, oh wow, okay, yeah, I can actually get into this, and then you open up your stupid mouth.
I feel the exact same way.
God, but that's what happens.
Just so annoying.
That's what happens when you have nothing. First of all, that's what happens when you're a fanboy. Tony Khan is still a fanboy, and I'm so surprised I'm saying this on a major publication like this, but I got to be honest, as a wrestling fan, Tony Khan is a fanboy. That's what happens when you mix business and pleasure. Tony Khan does not know how to separate the two. He's a fan. He is still a fan of the Young Bucks. He is still a fan of Fozzy. He is still a fan. Like, dude, grow up.
Yeah, I was just disappointed in the fact that he said that, because like after everybody was just so down on everything, and then like even me, I was like, all right, well, I don't like Tony Khan, but hey, they gave him the pile driver. I mean, hey, that's what people want to see. You don't like the guy, so yeah, this is what I want to see. I want to see him get hurt. Well, not hurt, technically, but I want to see.
I want to see him get hurt.
Yeah, but then he goes and says about like
nice bump by Razor. Nice bump.
It just makes
beautiful bump.
So let's get off the AEW topic.
Well, no, Chris, it's all right. I mean, I don't want
to. This episode isn't about AEW and Tony Khan. Oh my God, did you just see Diesel come in and just plow over Razor?
I will say, I think, of course, Baby Earl, I think, is the referee for this match.
Is Baby Earl there?
Probably the best.
Yep.
The best spot to that.
Do you think it's the guy from the Monster Factory? I still am so surprised that we met some guy at the Monster Factory randomly, and he says he's going to be in Seth Rollins' entrance, and we just are like, no way. And then he's actually there. That was so cool. Yeah. And so the people that you meet, this is like it's just a crazy world. You go to some random place, you meet some people, and it's just awesome. And then it comes back full circle. Maybe 10 years from now we might see that guy again and be like, holy crap, dude, you were awesome in that freaking show. Like, can't believe it. Look at Diesel though. Diesel was awesome back here. And he wasn't like, just coming in at Sean's heavy, like, and coming back from the gimmicks he had in WCW. He came from the Oz gimmick, and then he was like Vinny Vegas or whatever, like a gambler. And it was just really bad gimmick after bad gimmick. And then, Diesel is, the whole like, is he a truck driver or is he a truck? I don't get it. But this was definitely cool. But then when they went on the Kevin Nash, that's kind of where he shined. But look at Razor, dude. I mean, look at his chest. I mean, look at how big and just, I mean, I'm going to say it. He's a good looking guy.
Hey
Dude,
there, Big Hard.
You got to give credit.
Well,
you got to give real men give credit where credit is due.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, look at the guy. He is a professional wrestler. That's what I'm talking about.
And it was from his days in I think WCW with DDP. You know, Razor's gonna quit wrestling because he's got a baby on the way. He's got to make some money, and it's just not working. And he calls DDP, but he calls DDP and says, "I need a job." Diamond says, "Shave that mustache, get the scruff, put the toothpick in," and it was Vince took a look right after that.
Yeah, I guess.
But how good is Shawn, dude? And this is no disrespect to Razor, but Shawn could have had this match with a damn broomstick in this one.
Oh God, yeah. And
the
cool thing is these guys are such good friends outside the ring. So I mean, they were probably loving this. You know,
Could you
all know how they went long here? You know, so I mean, they definitely got a lot of heat here in the locker room. That's for sure. And hey, Razor Ramon went underneath that ladder. We all know that's bad luck. So
that's bad luck, but that's such a bad guy, cool guy thing to do.
That is. It's like the bad guy doesn't care about the bad luck. He's
right.
He's oozing machismo.
I'm better than bad luck.
I would love to get that yellow shirt, that old one with his face on it that says oozing machismo.
Oh dude, SBW or go online, but SBW is selling it for like $600, I think.
Yeah, hey Randall, shout out to Christmas gift.
Get you a couple.
So we got that show coming up July 7th at the Wind Creek here in Bethlehem. I got us 2 tickets for that.
Okay, well, since you're joining the Hard and Soft podcast for the first time, man, next time I see you, remind me. I'm gonna get you one of these Hard and Soft coasters.
Look at that
that's a coaster.
Coaster, man. It's a coaster. It's a 1 of 4. There's only 4 out there.
There's only 4 out there. That coaster is going to get used consistently.
We'll make sure we get that to you.
Look at that.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Oh, right to the gut. Ladder right to the gut. Look at Razor's
I'll even take that coaster out with me, like when I go to the bar, and you know where I'm going to go and take it with me, right?
I'm thinking next time we go to Philly, I'm definitely going there.
How funny?
Busy.
How funny is that I hop on? We're at McCusker's the Thursday night of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It's packed. We saw Meanie. We go over to Bubba Ray at the Wicked Wolf. We Uber over there, and I hop on my phone and I see you're live, and it looked like I haven't seen you in a couple months since Survivor Series, but it looked like where we just were. I was like, I think that's McCusker's. I type in, is that McCusker's? And all it took for us to show up was McCusker's. And we were there, dude. We were there.
And we were there.
We hopped in an Uber and went right over.
I loved it. Oh
man, look at that spot where he chucks. I mean, there's no way to plan for that. I'm just gonna throw this off your back, dude.
What is going on here?
What?
Insane.
It's a Shawn Michaels setting up the ladder in the middle here.
But Big
setting
Hard,
up the sharpshooter for later on in the match.
Big Hard, like you said though, this was like at the time, especially to be televised. At the time, this was like mind blowing.
Yeah, both titles hanging up there. It's like, how do they even reach it? You know, because like before the ladder's even put up, it looks right now it even looks too high for the guys to even get to the belt.
Right.
Well, and two, when you're there live, like Chris, remember when we were at the Royal Rumble?
Oh, big elbow drop off
at Wells Fargo. Oh, the cheeks are out. The Hard and Soft cheeks are out there.
That was always a good spot. Sean and Flair always did that, where their opponent would pull their pants down and put their ass out.
They pull the moon out. But like pulling this ladder out for the crowd and doing this match, it reminds me of Wells Fargo 2015 at the Royal Rumble. We haven't seen anything until when Brock Lesnar makes his entrance, and then business picked up, like JR would say.
Oh yeah.
This is like, they put that ladder in. This whole crowd hasn't seen anything like this night.
They're going nuts.
They're in it, dude.
And these guys went long on their match, so I know they got backstage heat and stuff like that. But I mean,
from the Macho,
they needed to do this though. Look at this.
And this is maybe the most iconic
Holy crap.
Iconic picture ever
of him just in the air.
Man.
Like And that move right there was just, you haven't seen that. And he's literally barely a foot higher than the top rope at that point. You know what I mean? But
look at
just
that
the
camera
visual
shot,
of him on the ladder just makes it so much bigger.
Man, this evil juggernaut can really produce a match.
Yeah.
For sure. This match is
and like
insane,
they get the Home Depot ladder too. Like
it's not even they still got like the price tag sitting on it.
I used to love when ECW would get the ladders that you could only get on the one side. The other side was like the paint. They put the paint table.
Yeah, the paint tray on
it. Yeah, there's no double climb in there. Yeah, this is so good. Like, just the entranceway is just the X. You know, that's all it is. There's nothing, and it's just so minimal, but that's all you need.
It's such a beautiful
LED
setup.
Boards,
yeah,
I've been liking what they've been doing on SmackDown and Raw lately with the smaller things, and I really like these cutscenes where they're doing like they had Jey Uso walking out the building, and they followed him.
That was awesome.
Sami Zayn outside the building, and then Sami Zayn came to the ring, but they followed him.
Well, and Chris,
straight camera shot. It's just cool, different little production things they're doing.
That's wrestling's back, man. I mean, that is Attitude Era. That's everything that was great about the Attitude Era. That Sami Zayn entrance on Monday Night Raw that night was
so cool.
That was dope.
To your point, Chris, Big Hard, the hardest one I know. Shoot, brother. The minimalist entranceways, you know, it kind of steps up every year. We go from this to Mania 14. They kind of have the same kind of entrance, but now they have the bands that play the guys out here and there. It wasn't until like Mania 17 that they start doing these massive Titantrons and big productions.
Yeah. They're cool for Mania though. Like this year was definitely awesome. It's just, and it's like that big LED board, but just the way they do it, like they shape them in the X, the L, and they're big enough that they can actually project some type of screen on it, which I don't know. It was just cool seeing it live, just being there and like seeing the huge production they put into these things. It's just, what was the one that they had, the roller coaster? Because that one was pretty crazy. I forget what WrestleMania that was, but that was an insane set. I
can't remember what WrestleMania that was either. Yeah,
I think it was 34 Nation. Correct the softy. I think it was 34.
Sean outside the ring here. And look at Razor. Instead of trying to go for the belts, he's taking the ladder outside the ring, and he's going to go put some more punishment on Sean.
Hell!
Oh,
I could climb the ladder and get that belt and wear the belt through the airport, but I'm not a mark.
He's just nailing Sean with this ladder.
But Triple H is smart, man. I mean, there's nothing in sports or entertainment that the crowd is more a part of than professional wrestling. And when you can pack in so many people, put that minimalist kind of entrance Titantron in there and just let us kind of see the sea of people that buy.
That's a great spot. He throws Sean into the ladder, and then Sean holds onto the ladder and brings it back and falls back. Oh, like these things. Look at this guy right here taking a camera shot, and he's got the three guys wearing white shirts. I say WWF in the crowd there.
He's the greatest. The greatest person to oversell Shawn Michaels. The greatest.
Yeah, he will either give you the best selling of your life, or he will go completely overboard and kind of make you look like a weirdo.
The weirdo.
Oh, nice. What a shot from the ladder.
Woo. Okay, so question. What was Shawn Michaels really billed at, height-wise?
I don't know what they said. I mean,
6'2". But the thing about Shawn was, he was a little guy and kind of was ahead of his time with the stuff that he did. But Undertaker says it best. When it comes down to Nux, you believed in him for whatever reason. You didn't think like, you believed in him scrapping. Yep. He had that edge to him, man. He was. I go back and forth whether it was him or Flair. That's my favorite of all time. It's HBK, man. It's
definitely HBK, and Flair. Even Flair says it.
Yeah, I mean that's just me
that's who we watched when we grew up. You know what I mean? Flair. By the time I was watching wrestling, it was right around maybe WrestleMania 8 or 9 when I got really into it. And I mean, for me, like Shawn Michaels, he's who I started watching. Bret Hart, Ric Flair by that point was already 20 years into his career, you know, by the time I started watching. So yeah, I do appreciate Ric Flair, and I go back and watch his matches, but like for, you know, just your personal, like how you feel as, you know, what you watched growing up. And Shawn Michaels, I mean, I watched him from the Rockers going up to his singles.
Look at the camera shot. Look at the camera shot here as we.
This is great.
And you can see here's the production value.
This is awesome.
That you don't even realize you're watching. You know, Razor takes a look up at the titles. Okay, now we were reminded that it's the titles. Now they're both climbing and going for it.
Look at this. They both fall off. That was kind of like
what a
hammering each other.
Yeah. They definitely
look at the ladder almost broke there. My girlfriend just texted me seeing if I can do the HBK pose later for her. So I said,
I've seen you do it a couple times.
Yeah, couple haters, and I'll throw it out there. Couple haters.
Actually, the background on my laptop is you doing the HBK pose and me standing behind you. Yeet.
That's the Hard&Soft calendar coming out soon.
The greatest thing about WrestleMania was just 4 phrases could get you to talk to anybody for the rest of, you know what I mean? If you just said, yeah, yeet, 3D, or the final boss, you were in with
you can't teach that.
It was great.
And I was back in Philly for a country concert on Thursday, the following week after WrestleMania. And I had to stand up. I looked at my girlfriend and I said, 1 second. Yeah. And no one did it back. I said, you guys must have forgot, man.
I would have been hurt, man. That would have hurt me.
Dude.
I would have super kicked somebody. Here we go. Oh, big set. Just as I say super kick, Sean hits Razor with the big super kick.
Well, and Chris, I don't want to get into this AEW. But this is what Sean's getting the super kick over at this point, right? And this is what AEW lacks, in my opinion. Their pops are for the spot. Like when Hook wrestled Jericho and they did that table spot, the crowd came up at Dynasty and they popped for the spot, right? Mm-hmm. When the Bucks hit a super kick or someone hits a super kick in AEW, the crowd pops for the super kick. When HBK does the super kick, the crowd pops and registers that move because HBK did the super kick. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference.
Yeah, he tunes up the band. He makes it a presentation. You know what I mean?
He definitely tunes up that band.
Well, the crowd's invested in the characters. There's a why. There's stakes on the match.
Finishers mean something. You know what I mean? Like, look what just happened today or last week on Dynamite. I mean, Swerve Strickland just won the title at Dynasty.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Then he had a match against Kyle Fletcher. Okay, so
wasn't it in the number 2 spot too? It was in the Bam Bam Bigelow Doink and Dink spot.
They don't even give him a promo or anything like that. They put him in a match, and here's what happens. He does a swerve stomp, and Kyle Fletcher kicked out of it. So I mean, like, why would you have somebody kick out of his finish when he just?
I love Swerve.
Whatever.
I love Swerve, and I'll say this: Swerve's entrance at Dynasty. You talk about a guy that is coming into his own, and he's not coming out there hoping or pandering to the crowd to give him reactions. He has them in the palm of his hand.
He's just a cool dude, man.
He just has them. He doesn't care what they say. He's making his entrance. His presence is there, and all he has to do is look around, and the crowd's there with him. He is over, dude.
He has that it factor, man. I don't know why WWE let him go, but
because that's what they do, man. It's what they do.
Yeah.
They drop.
And he'll be back.
Eventually, I would like to see it sooner than later. It's so funny. I've been talking to my uncle about that. I would like to see it sooner than later, but WWE has a way of dropping the ball with some great people that they can just work with, or just give them their moment. Let them do just like they did Bray Wyatt. Let them do what they do. It's going to bring you guys. It's going to bring you guys up. Trust me. Mm-hmm. Trust me. WWE has a way of doing that, and excuse my language. I hate that shit. I hate that shit.
I know.
I'm so glad Swerve is getting his just due. And
that's the great thing about why AEW is around. I was listening to Eric Bischoff, and he was I think we're getting into the finish of the match here as
Sean took that huge spot off the ladder with the nut shot.
Look at Sean's foot is completely out, and he's like, "Oh, now I'm gonna hook my arm in the
my arm in there."
He was totally trying. He was.
Razor dropped it, man.
So like you go back and watch that like we just did, and yeah, you kind of see that spot where Sean's kind of doing that, But whatever. But
Bischoff
gets those titles and just falls back.
Yeah,
and he is now the undisputed Intercontinental Champion.
Look at the amount of people,
dude, and people love this. They've just seen something they haven't seen before, and for a first ladder match at WrestleMania, this is definitely a good one. This is definitely the standard bearer of its time. And until WrestleMania 17, until they had that awesome TLC match, I mean, that was out of anything.
Incredible, man.
But
I mean, look at now. You got Razor going up. He's climbing the ladder. He's
selling. Hey yo, Baby Earl.
Hold that ladder.
Tell the boys in the back to point the card can at me, brother.
And he's holding up both titles. He just looks like a badass right there, man. One of the guys
they said Macho was kind of upset with these guys.
Yep.
Yeah, he said he was selfish, but you know what, dude?
They deserve it.
It was worth it. It was worth it.
Well, I mean, I understand it, right? But sometimes you got to be selfish.
Spend my days working hard on the go, but the hands on
that was incredible, man. One of my favorite matches. If not, that's one of my favorite matches in WrestleMania history, man. And like we said earlier, it was like it was a bit ahead of its time. And it was innovative, and you can't get any better than that back in the early 90s, man. Like this was the match that really catapulted what we have in a sense of extreme wrestling that may still exist in WWE. You know what I'm saying? Like we get the TLC matches, and we'll get a random table here and there. We'll get a random kendo stick here and there. I think when you think of those things, man, you really got to give credit to the ladder match at 10. You got to give credit to it.
Mm-hmm. Plus, it being such a good match, it gave Vince McMahon that sense of maybe like, okay, I can go ahead and do stuff like this, because he wasn't gonna go ahead and do a ladder match until this time. But now that it went so good, okay, now I can maybe try something new, until
exactly.
Until we're kind of getting some matches. Well, my favorite, the ambulance match, but
well, I like, I think first off, I think it's 100% true. And I think every good card has one of these car crash gimmick style matches. But I think the ladder match itself, it adds so much drama to the story, right? The climb, and it gives you that baby face struggle where he's climbing gets cut off. And yeah, I think it adds to the story in certain, and when it's needed, like this, it was innovative, and they changed the wrestling business for the good, where, Mick Foley getting thrown off the Hell in a Cell maybe changed the wrestling business. Not so, there was pros and cons to that, obviously, but this changed it for the good, man. And what a pick, what a first appearance for Okewa back on the Hard&Soft Pro-Wrestling Podcast. Dude,
we appreciate it.
Yeah, we really do. Yeah. Big Hard, you got anything left, man?
Well, it was just a great episode. I'm glad we got to sit here and watch this match. I'm glad you were on with us, Okewa. Big Softy, you're always on with us. You're always on with me, man.
I gotta get one of those damn beanies, man. Damn.
We're going to be back at you with some more
episodes. See what I can do for you. Let me have my people call their people.
Okay.
Send it up with the peoples. Yeah, and they call my people, which is basically me.
That's a coaster for a beanie. A coaster for a beanie.
A coaster for a beanie, you damn Skippy.
McCuskers.
But as a great episode starts, a great episode also must end. And to the millions
and millions
of the Hard&Soft members, I just want to say one thing.
My neighbors downstairs are probably like, what the hell do they do up there?
We make viewing gold
Oh, Jesus.
for the members of our nation. No,
Hey, Big Heart, don't be a mark.
Yeah,
Tell
I'm
your
a big
neighbors-
mark.
Tell your neighbors when you're passing them, bringing the groceries in, tell them mind your business.
Mind your business.
And tell them, if you're not hard, you're soft. And I just want to thank everybody out there for watching us. It's just a great ride we're all going on together. And as we say, Nation, we're coming out with some new episodes. I know there's some in the backs that we need to get up for some of the fans that have sent some requests over. So we're coming with that. And I just thank everybody for watching. And
Before we go, I'm sorry. Before we go, man, I just want to tell the Hard and Soft community out there, man. Listen, open up, guys. Talk to people. Be kind to people. Be nice to people. Celebrate with people. Have conversations with people that you don't know. If it wasn't for that, this wouldn't be happening right now. And
Exactly.
I'm so glad that it did. I'm so glad that we were able to fellowship in the way that we did, because it just continued. It continued. And this is what true friendships are made of. And you can't ask for anything better, man. So thank you, guys.
Well, and that was the thing about WrestleMania week. You think, okay, we're going to go to South Philly. It'll be a little dicey. We're going to be at the bars. There's alcohol involved. But there really, at WrestleMania week, there really wasn't even an opportunity for any trouble. I mean, everyone was so happy. Everyone was almost just celebrating this holiday that was WrestleMania. And I couldn't say any better than, Okewa, next time I record with you, I'm going to need to bring some tissues, man, because you're preaching. And I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're not hard, you're soft.
Soft.
You're damn right. And it's okay to be soft.